Hello students, in this class let us study about conditional sentences. What do you mean by conditional sentences? Conditional sentences are the complex sentences where in if clause there will be a condition, whereas in a main clause there will be result. Okay, so simply if we want to say means there will be two different sentences. Okay, so in first sentence, one sentence will be of condition and the second one will be of result. That is what known as conditional sentence. Today we are going to study first, second and third conditional sentences. Okay, so what do you mean by first conditional sentence? If a sentence is like this: if the battery is charged, the light will shine. This is the first conditional sentence. Why it is the first conditional sentence? Let us learn. Because if clause in a first conditional sentence will be in a present tense, whereas main clause will have these kind of modal verbs like will, won't, can, can't, shall, shan't, may and might. Okay, so if you are going to see this sentence, you will come to know if the battery is charged. It is in a present tense. It is not mentioned which present tense. Okay, any present tense can be. So it is in a present tense. If clause is in a present tense, whereas the main clause has will modal verb, that shows this sentence is in a first conditional form. Let us take some example. If it rains, I shall get wet. Okay, so the if clause is in a present form, whereas the main clause has shall as a modal verb. Okay, what does this sentence is telling? It is saying that if it is going to rain, I will get wet. So mainly in first sentence condition is been shown, whereas in the second sentence result is been shown. If you lend me some money, I can buy a new car. Okay, what does this sentence is telling? This sentence is telling that if you are going to give me some money, I can buy a car. So first sentence is in a present form, whereas second sentence, a result sentence, contains can. Now let us learn second conditional sentence. Second conditional sentences will contain past form of tense. Okay, here also there will be two clauses. A subordinated clause will follow with if. Okay, and the main clause will have would and wouldn't modal verb. A subordinative clause will be in a past tense. Okay, once again I will explain. There will be two clauses. If clause will have past tense form of sentences, whereas main clause will have would and won't modal verbs. Let us take example. If I won a lottery, I would buy a BMW car. Here also the sentence, the first if sentence will be the condition, whereas the main sentence, main clause will be the result. But a conditional sentence, if sentence will be in a past form, whereas the result sentence, main clause will have would won't modal verb. In this sentence also you can see if I won a lottery. Mainly won indicates that it is in a past form, whereas would indicates this main clause has would and won't modal verb. So it is a second conditional sentence. Next we will go with the next sentence. If he studied well, he would pass the exam. Okay, here also you can see, okay, studied indicates that if clause is in a past form, whereas the main clause he would pass the exam. Here we can see would modal verb which indicates it is in a this sentence is in a second conditional form. Now let us study third conditional sentences. In third conditional sentences there will be two clauses, if clause and the main clause, same like other conditionals. So in if clause the sentence will be in a past perfect form. Okay, so mainly had will be the auxiliary verb for the past perfect form. Okay, and main clause will have would have and would have been modal modal and auxiliary verbs. Let us take example. If we had performed well, he would have got a prize. So this is the if clause, and this a sentence which is written in a red ink, it is a main clause. You can see in a main clause would is there, whereas the if clause has had verb, okay, that indicates it is in a past perfect tense. Let us take another example. Okay, if Ramya hadn't started early, she would have been late to work. Okay, this sentence also shows that it is in a third conditional. You can easily identify why, because here had is there, which is in a negative form, had not, okay, hadn't started at, whereas in the main clause has would have. Okay, here also the first sentence if clause is showing a condition followed by the result. If she had not started her work early, she would have not been late to the work. Okay, mainly here would have indicates that it is in a third conditional form. Now let us read this sentence and we will identify in which conditional form does this sentence is there. Okay, so if he had studied well, we would have become a doctor. Little bit think. Okay, if he had studied well, he would have been a doctor. Now see, here he had studied well, that indicates the sentence is in a past perfect form, as well as the main clause he would have. So would have is there, so it is a third conditional sentence. Okay, it is a third conditional sentence. Likewise, we will move on to a second sentence. If he is with you, you could win the world. Okay, if he is with you, you could win the world. So the second sentence, if clause is in a present form, it is a present sentence and the main clause has could modal verb, so it is a first conditional sentence. Next sentence, if he had this much money, he would not show off. Okay, if he had this much money, he would not show off. Students, in this you can see had, so it is not a past perfect tense, because here had is working as the main verb, so it is a simple past tense sentence. Okay, so if clause is in a past tense, whereas the main clause has would modal verb, so it is a second conditional sentence. Thank you students for being here. Thank you for watching. Bye.